you know what you're doing, the doctor has to know what he's doing. So you try to help that person. But if you don't know what you're doing, what you do, stay clear. When you see people have diseases of the heart, either you can help because you know what you're doing, or you give them space. Why? Because you don't want to get infected. Does this sound familiar? If it's not sounding familiar, let me remind you. Scholars of Islam say unanimously that the general masses of Muslims should live amongst fellow Muslims. They should live in an Islamic environment. Only if you're strong enough to impact the environment around you should you live amongst non-Muslims. However, for the majority of Muslims who are not strong enough, they should stay away, or else they're going to watch themselves and their children slowly become more and more influenced by their environment, and they're going to watch the deen slowly grow and go away. Do we know this? Of course we know this. We have to look at it from the perspective of healthcare, of sickness, of quarantine, of being in a healthy environment. Again, you don't hang out in the hospital unless you're a doctor. You know what you're doing, and you know you're feeling good that day. Other than that, you don't want to expose yourself. And so yes, you need to ask yourself, every person has to ask themselves individually, in your heart, are you having a positive impact on the world around you? Or is it the case that your environment is affecting and changing you? You have to answer this on your own. I cannot do it for you. Why do you avoid sick people? Because the virus just wants to jump to a new host. It will do whatever it can to transfer to you. When you feel the early onset stages of that sickness, it's your body warning you, saying what? Get away. You're getting sick. So in a similar fashion, are we aware of the fact that anger is contagious? Perversion, which is widespread in this community, in this society today, perversion is contagious, laziness is contagious, stinginess, evil suspicion, hopelessness, carelessness, cowardice, dogmatism, narcissism, arrogance, envy, all the diseases of the heart. Aren't they contagious? Of course they are. They're all contagious. And of course, our social media algorithms have an infinite lineup of infectious diseases ready for consumption whenever you're bored. Why? Because they're controlled by the sickest people on the planet, that's why. It's obvious. Every swipe is like somebody coughing or sneezing in your face. They're always promoting some kind of vile sickness of the heart. And you think to yourself, oh, that's okay. It's okay. I'm not sick yet. I can handle it. I'm not sick yet. I can handle it. Yes, you're right. That's true. But for how long? You'll only know that you're sick when it's too late. So why are you playing games? Scrolling, hanging out with the wrong crowd, being around sick people. Do you want to know how bad it can get? Do you know how dangerous this can be? I want you to think back into your own personal life and think about a time where you were genuinely trying to get a message to someone. You were pouring out your heart trying to communicate to someone. Something you're unsincerely is coming to this person and you're trying to tell them, listen, I'm trying to help you. Please listen to me. And I want you to remember the moment that you realized they heard nothing. Do you remember how ugly that felt? Do you remember how sad you were, how frustrating it was, how disappointed you were? Do you remember? You know that their ears can hear just fine. You know that their brains can comprehend every word and every sentence perfectly. So what was the problem? Allah Ta'ala tells us what the problem is. And they said, our hearts are within coverings from that which invites to. My heart is covered. Covered with what? Covered with sin. There's something evil that I've done, and I'm just, it's not clicking. I'm not getting it. I hear what you're saying, but I'm sorry, I don't agree. Or don't you agree with everything I said makes perfect sense. What's the problem? Why can't you hear me? I'm trying to help you. I'm not benefiting. I'm not making any money off this. Please, listen to what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm just not getting through. Just the same way we saw that in others. Be cautious that might happen in you. Because when a cup is flipped upside down, you pour water on it all day, you'll never get a full cup. This is the pain of the khatib. Every khatib, when they stand on Jumu'ah, they know that a certain percentage of the audience has done something. I don't know what you've done. I'm not watching your personal lives, but there's something that some people have done that is so evil, and they have not repented, and because of that, doesn't matter how hard you try, some words won't matter. You see the same faces week after week, year after year, 52 weeks in a year, speaking to the same audience, and you're hoping maybe this time it's going to land. And subhanAllah, you can tell that the ears are just not receiving it, the heart is not taking it, the mind is not receptive, it's just not happening. Why? The heart is in a bad state. So don't just think, then you're not one of those people. First of all, yes, make dua. Allah protects our hearts. May Allah try to forgive us for our sins and make us open our hearts so that we have tongues to eat and sound heart. But don't just make dua. Take a step further. Take a step further to make sure that you never become that person. First you make dua, and then you take the necessary steps. What are the steps? It's simple. Allah try to make it so easy because Allah is so merciful. Do good deeds. Do good deeds whatever you can. Whatever you incline towards. Stay away from evil. Resist evil. Allah made it so clear. Allah made it so straightforward. Try your best to constantly work on your heart by doing good and forbidding evil. Do this over and over and over again, and inshallah ta'ala, this is how you clean your heart. Let's bring this home a little bit closer to what we're seeing every single day. You open up the news and what you see every day is this horrible scene, just a crime scene, one crime scene after the next in the political world. SubhanAllah, it breaks your heart, and when you look to guidance from Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what you find? The Prophet described political weakness beautifully. He described it with such a clarity. And what did he say? He said, there's going to come a time when the nations around you are going to gather against you. And they're going to just eat from you, devour you. And we know this incredible hadith gets mentioned so often. Why? Because it's so relevant. The Sahaba are wondering, is it because we're small in number? No, we're huge in number. It's paradoxical. How does that make sense? How can you be huge in number and weak at the same time? You're big in number, you're strong. Let's just defend yourself like that. What are you doing? And the Prophet predicted incredibly miraculously. No, you're huge in number, and yet you'll be so weak. Why? What is the strategy, Ya Rasulullah? O Messenger of Allah, tell us what political moves we need to make. Who do we become allies with? What type of military power and prowess do we need? Give us some military advice. No military advice. What? It's not a military issue. It's a spiritual issue. What? I'm talking about politics. I know. It's not a political issue. Allah's going to put in your hearts this thing called wahan. What's wahan? Love of this world and hatred of death. Love and hatred, the heart, it's all internal stuff. You're talking about spirituality. I'm asking about politics. Give me political solutions. You're not getting it. You seem to refuse to get it. It's a spiritual issue. The political world that we're seeing right now is a spiritual issue. And until you understand that, until you fix the heart, then the political situation will not change. Allah Ta'ala is not going to give victory to people whose hearts are diseased. It's not going to happen. Even if theoretically we found some way to do it, it can be taken away from us. You don't deserve it yet. So may Allah Ta'ala make us of those who have clean hearts. Inshallah, we'll continue the second program. So what's Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. A very beautiful proverb, Arabic proverb that I came across, famous among scholars as well. At-ta'ammul fil qalb hijab al-atiyah. What a beautiful. At-ta'ammul fil qalb hijab al-atiyah. Analysis of the heart is the trait of the geniuses. Analysis of the heart is the trait of the geniuses. Geniuses pay attention to the heart. That's what they are concerned with. Everybody else will be paying attention to lots of other things out there. The truly intelligent person is what? Why do I feel the way I feel? Who am I really? I gotta look internally. I have to solve this Rubik's Cube. I gotta unravel this thing. I gotta understand myself. I gotta look into my heart. What are my influences? Why do I want what I want? What am I chasing after? Who am I influenced by? Who do I look up to? What will be my impact? What will my end be like? How will I stand for Allah? Geniuses pay attention internally to their heart. Everybody else can chase whatever they want. But we look at the Sahaba, we see that they had incredible qualities. When you think of Umar ibn al-Khattab, what do you think of? You think of a man who stood for strength and justice. That's the images that come to mind. We think of Uthman ibn Affan, kindness and generosity. Giving so much. When you think of Abu Hurairah, what do you think of? Preservation of knowledge, ilm al-hadith, transmitting so much. When you think of Ali ibn Talib, we think of wisdom and bravery and love of the warrior. We think of Mus'ab ibn Umayr, we think of da'wah and sacrifice. We think of Salman and Farisi. But I'm dedicated to execution. We think of Abu Dhar al-Ghifari. We think of a person who has the senses of character. This dunya means nothing. We think of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. We think of mastery of the Quran, someone who studied and loves the Quran. We think of Khalid ibn Walid. You think about a military genius warrior. None of them were the number one companion of the Prophet. Who's number one? Abu Bakr Siddiq. That's not what he's known for. He's known for what? His heart. His truthful, sincere heart. That's why he's a Siddiq. That's what made him number one. It wasn't anything else, it was the heart. And how did he protect his heart? Why is it that he had the best heart? Why was he number one? Well, we never get to learn. The Prophet ﷺ told us. The Prophet ﷺ, he was asking his companions. And he was surveying them as they're sitting together, and he asks, Man asbaha minkum al-yawm sa'iman. Who got up today fasting? Who's fasting today? Abu Bakr Siddiq says what? فَمَنْ تَبِعَ مِنْكُمُ الْيَوْمَ جَنَازَةً. Who amongst you prayed funeral prayer and continued with his procession until digging up the grave and burying? I didn't. Okay. فَمَنْ أَطْعَمَ مِنْكُمُ الْيَوْمَ مِسْكِينًا. Who fed somebody poor today? I didn't. And then what's next? فَمَنْ عَادَ مِنْكُمُ الْيَوْمَ مَرِيضًا. Who amongst you visited the sick? I didn't. So the Prophet tells him, مَا اجْتَمَعْنَا فِي امْرِئٍ إِلَّا دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةَ. These things do not combine in one single human being, except this person goes to paradise. You know, some people, they hear this hadith and they think to themselves, I have to take this very literally. I have to do exactly these deeds. I have to fast, and I have to look at somebody die today. Is there somebody that's sick today? You know, they think very literalistically. Did I feed a poor person today? And they think if I just do this exact combination, then inshallah I'll go to paradise. And you know what? If you have the opportunity to do so, go ahead. Bismillah, it's amazing, you should. However, what if it's not about a specific list? What if the idea in this hadith is simply saying, who fills their days and nights with good deeds? Who here fills their days and nights with good deeds? Who here is constantly trying to ask themselves, what's my schedule today, and how can I do the most, how can I maximize this day? Both privately, personally, between you and Allah, when we pray at night, when we fasting, and then communal service, like taking care of those in need, like being there for your brother and sister. I don't care if it's private or public, whatever. I just need to fill my day with good. Allah forgive me if I'm wrong, but this is the way I understand. It's not specific to those particular deeds. If you restrict it like that, you're very rarely going to have an opportunity to be like Abu Bakr Siddiq. However, if your objective is to exhaust yourself and maximizing your potential, then inshallah ta'ala you have that opportunity. This is what made him Siddiq the most truthful. This is what made his heart the most pure, because he was constantly striving towards good. May Allah ta'ala make us of those who understand the importance of focusing on our hearts. Ya Allah, you have honored us. Help us to maintain that honor. Ya Allah, we have dangerous tendencies. Help us to keep those tendencies in check. Ya Allah, let us reach our potential so that we fill our days and our nights with good deeds. Ya Allah, remove the humiliation from this ummah and fix our broken hearts so that our ears can hear clearly, and our eyes can see clearly, and our tongues will speak truthfully, and our behavior is exemplary. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Allahumma ahdina fi man hadayt, wa afina وتولنا فيمن توليت ولا تكلنا فيمن اعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فانك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك انه لا يذل من ملك ولا يعز من عادت تبارك ربنا وتعالى ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم برحمه الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة